Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is war number 8 of season 42. We are going up against HCAR. Now last season these guys completely cleaned our clock. It's the first time I've ever seen a full alliance donut. They got 0 deaths against the whole alliance out of nowhere, totally creamed us. So we are definitely looking for revenge today. Now both of our alliances are currently 3 and 4, so this is going to be a very, very important war as we are both trying to claw back to Masters, and we are pretty evenly matched. So it's definitely going to be a good one, and I get to bring in a pretty fun team here. It's basically the full Kingpin synergy team, but I am also going to use my rank 3 hood for a very dangerous Gorr later, and it's going to go great. So we start off with Kingpin. He is whitelisted this season, and we're going up against this Quicksilver. Now the Quicksilver has the power efficiency node, which means he's going to be throwing a lot of specials, so the Mr. Sinister synergy is going to potentially help us with that. My game plan going into this was to trigger the evade and then basically push him to exactly 1 bar of power, bait the special 1, and then let the power lock keep him from getting to another special 1. So that was my plan. Our combat regen boost is almost over and we haven't really needed it. The reason I didn't do invuln is because his combos have so many hits. It's like 1 hit gets rid of the invuln. So now we are in overpower. Our game plan has gone out the window because he's just not throwing his specials, and by dashing back he's creating momentum. So there he goes. He is power locked, but because the evade was on cooldown, we don't even get to capitalize off of it. So this is going very sloppy, but the good news is because of hazard shift, we are able to take his whiplash and any withers or anything that hit us and just take care of him the easy way, just turn it into overpower buffs. We have so much damage here. And we did take a couple hits. It was a little sloppy, but there are very few ways that Kingpin is dying in that fight, even though I didn't play it well. So the Sinister synergy didn't really come into play there, and that's fine. That's how it works sometimes. Kingpin is such a beast, especially against skill champions. No issues there. So we are continuing. We're doing the full, well, actually, we're not doing full path 9, but we're doing more hazard shift stuff here. And the one note I just want to make sure I know what's going on here is this Gorr that we're going to be taking a little bit later. So because I'm going back to back to back with these fights, I'm just rereading the nodes because this node 47 did change fairly recently. So I just want to make sure I know what it is. In some ways, it's actually an easier node for Gorr because he doesn't have Rich Get Richer, which is one of his most dangerous combinations. But yeah, rank 3 hood is going to do a great job there. First, we got to knock out these hazard shift fights. So iBom, I am not immune to poison, but there's going to be so many debuffs getting on Kingpin that he's going to fairly easily get into overpower between the bleed, the shock, and the poison. Also, any weakness or petrify that gets on us. So you'll notice the hood synergy does create a 100% chance to shrug the debuffs, but there is a slight cooldown, right? So that means sometimes if I'm comboing, a few of the debuffs do stick. That's just kind of how the hood synergy works. It's one of the reasons that I don't necessarily think the hood synergy is necessary. Well, first of all, it seems like more are sticking on us than they should be, but I've also often said that the hazard shift nodes, you don't really need hood because as soon as you get to 8 debuffs, they all go away anyway, and enough of them will shrug even without the hood synergy that it's all good. And you can see, between the willpower healing and inequity and all that kind of stuff, we basically ended with 100% health. So no risk there. It did have 1 eye open, so you just noticed I never parried him, and we just found our openings otherwise, and Kingpin takes care of it. Now Wiccan is here. Really the only issue we have to worry about is Mystic Dispersion, because his neutralize off of parry is a debuff, which we are likely to shrug. Again, it didn't shrug there. It's just because of the rapid fire nature of some of these debuffs. They don't all shrug, even though it's 100% chance, because there's a slight cooldown when we're doing combos. So my goal is to bait the special 1s. I've practiced. Basically, you go to the end of the screen, and then when you see the beam, you jump in. You actually don't even need to dash out when you're in the back of the screen. So because we did not knock him down fast enough, there is a passive incinerate on us. But because there's 2 degens on him and the power lock and everything, that's triggering inequity, which means it's just not ticking for that much. Plus, we're willpower healing. So yeah, things are going very, very well here. We're not losing that much health. We're just baiting special ones. Whenever he throws a special, he gets power locked, so we can be aggressive right after and not worry about Mystic Dispersion. And yeah, I see what they were trying to do there with the path splitting, but it really ended up not being that bad because Kingpin can handle Wiccan even on a vanilla node due to his ability to shrug the incinerates and the neutralize. Now, this is going to be a fight where we need to decide advanced power boosts or invuln. And I am not super worried about taking a special 3 in this fight, but even though that's not a risk, we have the 25% special 3 on. So I did advanced power boost because I want to just get to a special 2 very quickly. We start with the phase. That's to help with one eye open. Now we throw the special 2 as soon as we get it, and even with MD5, it doesn't send us red. That's the goal. We do back-to-back specials, and now we are going to detonate now. The reason I did that detonation there was because of Make a Stand. I wanted to make sure that I could release that heavy attack during the cooldown of protection. So that was our first cycle. If this was a rank 4, he might already be dead by now. But we do need to knock him down again. We need to bait his special 1, and then we need to do another heavy cycle, and that should kill him. Now, his regen is pretty scary, man. His regen is pretty scary. We do go red here, so that kind of messes up our plan. And now that did not kill him. I was really hoping that would kill him. Now we have to deal with a special 2 potentially, which even though he doesn't have that many buffs on him, I am a little worried about taking it into block. So I decide to push him red and hope that my special 3 kills him so that I don't have to block a special 2. This may have still been the right call, but the one thing I did not take into consideration was that Make a Stand protection was not on cooldown, which meant that we did not do enough damage to kill him. Now this is where those special 3 boosts really come in handy. I'm not sure if that would have killed me anyway. I think we were boosted enough that it didn't. But even so, having the special 3 boost meant we could tank that. I think that was the safer option. And yeah, Hood is so good there. I think we played that right. It was a little crazy at the end, a little aggressive, but yeah, I think he's just such a hard counter to Gorr. Some people like to use less than MD5. I'm pretty comfortable with MD5. I think that went well. Good enough that I would take that fight again, knowing a little bit more. So finally, this wasn't originally my assignment, but I had an open slot, which is why I added Mr. Sinister, which I do think did come in handy against that Wiccan. And it's really going to come in handy against this America Chavez as well. This is just a standard hazard shift fight, but she is stun immune, which means she's probably going to be throwing some heavies, and it is a 7-star. So there she goes, right out of the gate with the heavy. That's what you expect with her. The one thing that I have to worry about this fight is I just need to make sure if she gets the special 2, which is likely going to happen because of like buffs expiring on me and just her being passive and throwing a million heavy attacks and everything. We need to make sure that we bait out Utopian Parallel. So there we go. Bait out Utopian Parallel. That means this is not unblockable. Now she's power locked. We can get in there, get some hits off. I'm using special 1s. Those apply a weakness and an ability reduction, which is helpful. Somehow we got hit by the last hit of that combo. We've used 2 indestructible hits, so I need to not get hit again, just in case I need to tank a special 3. But now the fight's mostly under control. Once we basically did that baiting of the first hit of the heavy before the special 2, that was the only dangerous moment so far. But my lord, is she throwing lots of heavies. There's something about her AI that really, really makes her do that. You're seeing that Mr. Sinister synergy is really coming in handy because as soon as she throws a special, it basically means that she becomes power locked and her power gain doesn't work. Now she's open 3 dimensions, which means the dark dimension is open now. So we are going to be taking some damage back on all of the hits that we are hitting her with. But you saw that we basically had 100% health. She had like 10% health. So I did not care about hitting into her right there and she goes down. So yeah, that is also a very safe matchup. You just got to know that trick about how to not get her to go unblockable on the special 2, because even an invuln boost may not save you from all that red damage that comes off of it, especially from a 7-star. So we did end up winning this war. It was a pretty close one, and very proud of the team for doing very well. And it does set us up to be back at a 4-4 record, back at 500, which is really, really important in setting up the final week plus of war season. Typically 5-7 record if you have a good enough attack bonus, or definitely 6-6 record gets you into masters these days. So knowing that we are 4-4, that gives us a little bit of wiggle room, but of course we would love to just keep winning. We're on a little bit of a tear. Things are starting to click, which we love to see. So keep tuning in for more of these war videos. We are wrapping up the season with 4 more wars. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you in the next one.